All right, this is for Bima Bima from Facebook's Level Up. Okay, so you're having an issue with the contrast and the brights and the darks. Okay, so the first thing that I would say right off the bat is that you want to get a sense of foreground and background. Let's just do a crop here, and I'm going to just dump this because it doesn't really make a difference. Okay, so the All right, so looking at this, the first thing that I would say right off the bat is you need to work on anatomy. The anatomy of it basically lies in the fact that you've got a huge torso compared to the neck and head. The character is kind of a little bit too tall for the head. So things like that, and then the hair doesn't sit right on the character. So um, basing this as your head here, you're gonna have the torso probably only be about that big, and then that's going to be a proportional aspect. There's your shoulder bone or collarbones. Probably get the torso a little bit longer to get that rib cage in there, and then um, you know the arm looks like it's kind of broken because it's off to the side, not foreshortened. So that needs to be kind of adjusted, and then this probably needs to have some twisting and stuff like that to bring it up a little bit more. And then the hips come out, and they're kind of twisted, so your twist is off because you've got straight here, and then you want to put this forward. So put this a little bit more, you know, give the silhouette a little bit more push. Um, and so that's just something that I would kind of tell you to work with a little bit and make it off balance. But yeah, the proportions are a little bit off. The hair would sit up more, especially since it's an old Victorian style hairdo. It's going to sit up more, and then the eyes and stuff would go up a little bit more as well. So work on the anatomy. Getting the foreground background separation, what I would say is that you want to add a little bit more blues in there. So if I'm going to do this real quick here, I'm really gonna rough this out here, so it's gonna look ugly, but okay, so again, oops. So I'd probably just tweak some of this stuff here. But so the first thing that you want to do is you want to um, create a little bit more depth in the background, and so let's cut her out. And then the first thing that I would do is get a little bit more of that fog because you have the light coming in, and if that light is coming in, you're going to get a little bit more of that kind of depth on the fog. So like you've got these light beams here, and that gives you a perfect kind of a perfect source to kind of lighten up the whole background as a whole, and so that helps out a little bit there. And then what you want to do is you want to, like, just by lightening that up, that silhouettes her a little bit better. And then what I would do is push some light beams in there. So I would probably do something along the lines of like this. And let's see here. So you want to do, if you're going to do like gradients like that, actually, let's do something like this real quick here. So I don't have to There we go. So something along the lines of this. So basically what you're doing is you're building up, you can put some light beams in there. Um, and of course you're going to play with, soft light or whatever. Um, and then transform them, rotate, things like that. But you want to put some light beams in there that are kind of bursting through the beams here. And I think that's going to kind of help sell the background a little bit more. That light is bursting through, and then again you can kind of, break this down a little bit and give it that feeling. The other thing that's going to help you out is putting some foreground elements in here, even if said foreground elements are, like in complete blackness. Like a tree branch, coming in the foreground like this. Something like that, where it looks like she's kind of building up. And then if you want that contrast in there, you can kind of put a little bit of a highlight and stuff like that in there. Or even adding in, I don't know, like you've got some wreckage here, even adding in some of that wreckage in the foreground is going to help kind of sell your information a little bit better, especially if it goes in front of this, this piece as a whole. It doesn't have to be, detailed or pretty, but it just gives you that idea that there's stuff in the foreground, and it's going to push more depth into the background as well. So that is, between the combination of the anatomy and the dress, that's going to help you out a little bit more. And then what you can do is kind of sell this, especially in the dress, with like, highlights on the hair, highlights on the dress, highlights on, the skin, things like that are really going to kind of push her as far as more form and more depth. So that'll help as well. All right, I hope that helps.